Hello, Facebook. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's day 42 of my class. Hi, everyone. Sign in. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what is the greatest change you've made in your life, which you did not have pre pandemic. I really want to know. Hi, everyone. So, day 42, today I want to begin with you telling me what is the greatest change, something that has really drastically changed from the way you used to be or habits that you used to have pre pandemic to now. What's a big change, a big shift? Hi, Dipti. Good to see you. Hi, everyone. So, what's a big change that you've noticed in your life that you did not have before? So it could be that you're sleeping more, that you're rested more. What's a big shift that you've had in your life? Somebody says they've started a coaching business, cooking more, hiking more in the Himalayas. I'd like to do that. More self-tolerant, learning to keep calm, living more in my own body, more relaxed, more calm, more cool, collected, value life for what it is in the presence of the now. Nothing has changed for Shelley. More boundaries around well being times. I could care less. Becoming more aware of my inner workings, listening more, cooking more mindfully, walking more, really starting to question why I overthink, planting more things in the balcony, spending less, meditating the first time. I feel more empowered because I'm realizing I put up with more than I should. That's really good, Shilpa. That's fabulous. Meditating every night following your meditation. That's wonderful. Importance of my relationship with my children. I'm able to recognize my faults, starting to work on me. Wow. So in 8 short weeks, you may have learned more about yourself and more about your character and your nature than you may have done in a long time. Being forced to surrender has been the best thing. Less reactive, calm. I can stop my stories in my head. Planting more food, meditation, not putting makeup, loving my raw look, stronger relationships. She took the Year of the Awakened Heart. If people want to take my courses, they are at a huge discount, 50% off, only for another 9 days. Go to my website and take my courses, especially the Awakened Heart. It's 52 hours and the meditation. Seeing the real of people, a journey within. Hi, Craig from England. Um, Leslie says the awakened heart is a lot like the teachings I'm giving here. Now it's resounding. Anna says that we are all one, we're connected. I've been cooking, doing creative things, loving and honoring myself more, feeling my grief, loss more intensely, stopped the future plans, forgiving my family. That's amazing, Janine. Positive affirmations. I'm fully happy. Removing toxic people from my life. Yes, Leanne. Not expecting anything anymore, letting go of trying to control the future. Um, Ilzi says she's been doing the Awakened Heart for 5 months. That's fabulous. That's one of my signature courses. So if you want a signature course of mine, really deep, really in depth to heal your inner child, to understand who it is you are, take the Awakened Heart. It's 50% off. Accepting all my feelings, letting go, recalibration, not needing as much validation from my friends. Hello. You're not meeting your friends much, right? Living in the moment with intention and presence, helping me to unhook all the people who aren't doing any good for me. Not feeling sad for feeling sad. releasing excess fat derived from emotional eating in the past 5 to 6 years. Thank you, Anna. Learning to speak to people because I know more about me within, taking care of myself and my emotions with awareness, writing my book, not missing a lot of the old, Jacqueline says, surrendering to the universe, trusting my inner voice, finding someone who speaks my alien language. How did you do that? Stop pleasing people, more deeper learning of the self, reading more, taking all these courses. Look at you, Maria. Parenting Quest, Awakened Heart, Anger Transformed. Thank you, Maria. Accepting myself and my children, understanding self discipline, power of being myself. Feeling unsettled makes us learn so much. Yes, doesn't it? Because it rocks us from our predictable ways of being. So now you're in new territory and you have to dig out new parts of yourself. Yep, learning new skills, learning Swedish. Beautiful, everyone. Practicing it is what it is. Zara is asking me if that's my natural eye color. Yes, it is. um, Stopping smoking marijuana, consciousness. Oh, that's so great, Raina. I'm so happy. Um, Thank you, Diane. Sue says, stop pleasing others, understanding myself more. Shikma says that, connecting with my baby boy. Okay, everyone. So apparently there are lots of lessons here. Apparently, who would have thought that there are so many lessons, right? Becoming a student again. I'm sorry, I'm just fascinated with everyone's answers. Listening more, talking less, living in a natural way. Andrea's listening to me every day. Zara, I've let go of the need to please others at the expense of myself. I love it. So I'm writing a book right now, and it's literally being written as we speak on the awakening of the woman. Maybe it'll be called the awakened woman, I don't know. And it's all about the reclamation of the self and the renaissance of the inner voice and the rebirthing of one's power, especially if one is a woman, right? So Ismi, I'm asking about what do we feel we've learned that we did not know before? So Lynn says, I realize I need very little. Bhavna has gotten to know me, learning how to slow down, enjoy the now. Sharnita is understanding co-creation. Beautiful. So the reason I asked this question, and I know I play with my hair a lot, this is just my habit. Um, I get so much feedback. Dr. Shefali, you play with your hair so much. Yes, I do. So people often want to know about co-creation, and the reason I ask this question is to show you how, even in a period of drought and so-called isolation and so-called famine of our addictions, we can see the co-creative potential if we're open to it. We can have so much power to transform. It doesn't look like it should, that's for sure. And in that way, it's totally messed up because it's messed up. What does it mean to be messed up? It just means that what it was isn't. So it's really messed up. But what it's giving in return are tremendous doors to freedom, because detaching by its nature is freedom. It doesn't feel like it at first, because at first it shows up as grief and resistance in us. But over time, it is freedom. When you lose things or people, at first it shows up as grief and anger and resistance and disbelief because you have been so attached. But over time, the very thing that you lost has now created a space. And before you fill that space with more junk, if you allow that space to be a void, yes, it feels weird. Yes, it feels empty. But with emptiness comes freedom. Freedom doesn't come with a cluttered existence. Freedom doesn't come with a packed schedule. Freedom doesn't come with 10 million things to do. You know why? Because freedom within us can only breathe, the rose can only bloom when it has space. Freedom needs space. So we all want freedom, but we don't create the space. So now you're seeing, because you were forced to see, the space has been created. You have been snatched from your existence. You have been transplanted, dislocated, disembodied, discombobulated from your prior existence. You've been told, "Oh, let's get up," and you've been teletransported, magically transported into a new reality. Yesterday you were here, today you're here. What that's done is that it's forced you to cut the cord to people and things. It's forced you. You have no choice. People have died, people have left, people are unemployed, people have moved homes, and things have been lost, jobs have been lost, homes have been relocated, shops have shut down, industries are breaking down, right? So, what a tremendous turmoil, what a tremendous catastrophic turn of events. So, with this tsunami, with this hurricane, with this avalanche, in its wake is death and destruction, devastation, right? But as it does that, it creates space. And in this space, if you allow it enough, comes freedom. Freedom needs space. So if you fill your life with a million things and say, "Why aren't I feeling free?" It's because you've attached to a million things. It's only when you have internal freedom, which really in essence means lack of fear and control. Because the reason we attach to things is because we are in fear and control. Women have lived with the hair dye because they have been in fear and control of looking at their own hair, paying so much money and buying so many clothes and covering themselves up because they've lived in fear and control. Fear of not looking as beautiful as they want, and control to control their growing older age, and they want to control it. Now you're at home and you've released that, haven't you? But with it, if you're wise, comes the abnegation of needing validation from the outside world, because that's why you did it, because you were conditioned to do it. Similarly, with so many men, yes, you've lost your job. Yes, your salary's been cut down. Yes, your paycheck slashed. But if you allow it, with this space opening, there's a possibility for this pause, this sigh, this breath, this wind to come in, because the window is open. Yes, with this comes loss. There's no doubt. You're losing something, no, to create space. How to create space, right? Even obese people who lose weight go through a climactic transformation. Even they go through an adaptation, an acculturation, a shock, and they want to put back the weight on, because even that is a loss. You've gotten attached to the identity, and it feels weird to be skinny now. Ask any fat person, they'll tell you it feels really weird. So we are in a really weird space because we're losing so much. So many people are losing. So I'm here not to take away the pain of that loss. I'm here to show you that with that loss, there is a release of an attachment. Yes. So say you lost your father, say you lost your brother, your partner. With that is so much grief. But with that is also a release of an attachment, if you can see it in a beautiful metaphysical way. With that release of attachment, because now you've let go of another attachment, you actually on a metaphysical level, are being allowed to be you, to be more you. The more we lose our attachments to things and people, in its paradox exists a gift. It takes away, it gives. Nothing is non dualistic. Everything is non dualistic. What does that mean? Loss cannot just be loss because that's duality. Loss or no loss. No. When you look at the world like that, loss, no loss, then you're going to suffer. When you understand there's no such thing as loss, no loss, with the loss is the gain. That's a non-dualistic perspective. A non-dualistic perspective understands one is with the other. So with the loss is the gain. With the gain is the loss. So you can gain $1 million, you're going to lose your peace of mind. You're going to gain a mansion, you're going to lose the money it takes to keep the mansion. You're going to get the cow and the mouse and the horse to keep you company at home. Now you're going to lose the money to feed the cow, the mouse, and the horse. Do you understand? You get a husband, you're so excited. Now you have less time on your own. With every gain is a loss. Every loss is a gain. Freedom comes mostly gain. Freedom is gain from loss. I mean, there's just no way to have freedom with attachment. This is what the Hindus and the Buddhists and the Eastern mystics and Jesus understood. Why was Jesus such a simple man? Because he understood in the release, in the letting go, in the surrendering to human nature, to nature of nature, there lies emancipation. Right? You didn't see Jesus carrying his $1 million shoes in his backpack and his cosmetics and his suits and bow ties and lapels and fancy things, fancy Rolex watches. You didn't see Jesus worried about his mortgage and his, Bentleys and Mercedes Benzes in the garage. Neither did you hear about the Buddha. The Buddha left the royal palace. So what is common in these teachings, right? These are teachings for our spiritual development, right? They're not just for religious zealotry and bigotry. They are for our awakening to understand what the parable is telling us, what the metaphor is telling us. If the Buddha left the palace, what is that telling us? If Jesus was always the simplest and lived among the poor, what is he saying to us? What are these stories teaching us? Not that we have to go and give up everything necessarily, but it's teaching us that it is in the release that there's something mystical, something magical. So those who have been taken from feel victimized, right? Our instinct is to resist. Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why? Because we're so attached. We're like so attached. We're like, I like my phone, right? We're licking it, we're sleeping with the phone. We're like, my phone, right? My headphones, right? We're attached to everything. But look, just by being attached, I have two more heavy things now in my hand. It's weighing me down. We don't realize it. It's not aggrandizing us. It's weighing it down. We're aggrandizing the ego, weighing the soul. Everything is non-dualistic. Never look a gift horse in the eye and think that it's just a gift horse. It's a Trojan horse. It's coming with a sword, right? Nothing is what it seems. So when you're stolen from, when death comes knocking on your door, the disease, the death, the loss of job, it doesn't matter what the death is. The immediate response is to resist. The immediate response is to be in lack because we come from duality, right? Duality says it's either you take or you don't take. There's no other way to look at reality. But when you understand another perspective, a wisdom perspective, you see things non-dually. You know, this is one of the pivots of wisdom teachings, is to understand non-duality. Non-duality means nothing can exist without the other existing. So if you have loss, right with loss is gain. You just can't see it. So those who have been taken from react with defiance and impudence or grief and depression, right? Because they truly believe in duality. They believe, wow, I'm being taken from. This is being stolen from me. This is being snatched from me. And I'm going to resist because as a child, I learned to hold on. And we were conditioned to collect. But when you become older and wiser, you realize that in the holding on, I'm weighing down. In the holding on, I'm cluttering. I am creating chaos. If it's time for death, it's time for release. There's no arguing with death. Death of the job, death of the person, death of the relationship. If it's over, it's over. It doesn't mean it's the end, because with every over, right inside the over, with the in the R of the word over, is the renewal, right? Is the new renewal. It's right there, but we can't see it because we've been conditioned to have life in boxes, and then we don't see the interconnection. So we're terrified. In one of my talks, you can look at it on my website, maybe someone will post it, which I think is one of my best talks. It was done at Mind Valley. It talks about there's no good or bad. So often you hear the cliche, good, bad, who knows? And I say, no, 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 no. It's not good, bad, who knows? There is no good, there is no bad. You understand? It's not good, bad, who knows? You're still attached to good or bad. There is no good, there is no bad. And in that talk, I give a little parable of this poor woman who lived on her own in a hut, and she was so content, and she was so lovely, and she was so fine. But then she was feeling really lonely. So no, she wasn't feeling lonely. She was feeling cold, I think, something like that. So she goes to buy a coat, and she dresses up in a coat. One day she left the coat by her bed, and a little mouse came and ate into her precious coat. And because she was so attached to the coat, which she didn't have last month, but now she's very attached to the coat, she was like, I never noticed this mouse before because I didn't have things lying around. But now I have this coat, and now this mouse has eaten my coat. So she went to buy a cat. So the cat took care of the mouse. Now she's like, oh my goodness. So she bought the coat. That was really good. Then the mouse came and ate the coat. That was really bad. Oh, it's okay. I'm going to buy a cat. She bought the cat. Really good. Now the cat was going to take care of the mouse. But oh my goodness, she said, now I have to feed the cat. Oh, so I have to give out, I have to go and buy milk. Well, that's not good. This is bad. So she buys the milk. And then she thinks to herself, wait, instead of buying the milk because that's taking so much money, let me save some money and buy a cow. So she buys a cow to feed the cat. And she's like, now that's fabulous. That's so amazing. I have a cow, right? But the cow costs a lot of money. So now she needed to make some more money. So she's like, maybe I'll buy some chickens to sell the eggs. Do you see where this is going? And it goes on and on and on. I am making this up in the minute because what it shows is that there is no good and bad. Right is there's the good, there's the bad. Right is the bad, there's the good. You know this, right? Every homeowner who wanted to have their own house, the minute you have your own house, now just today I spent $1,400 on my boiler for next winter. Yes, just today, right? Then you have to have the lawnmower, then you have to have the bloody garden costs so much money, and every bush costs money, and you're like, I didn't know that home owning costs so much money. So everything comes with a price, right? I say there's no prize without the price. You want this, you get this. You want a big family? Oh, okay. So you're going to have sibling wars. You're going to have chaos and hell. You even two children. One was there, but you wanted two sibling wars, right? So I often have parents coming to me and going, "How do I get my kids to stop fighting?" I go, "How many do you have?" They're like, "Only two." I'm like, You could have stopped at one. Wanted two. With two comes war. That's it. Add anything, now we have a problem, right? So in the same way, as you add a lot to your plate, both in the good and the bad. Similarly, when it's taken away, it's the same. See, the laws of the universe are the laws of the universe. We don't like them when they are working against our ego. Our ego doesn't like it because the ego wants what the ego wants. But if we understand that the universe doesn't care about your ideas of good and bad, the universe just is cause and effect. The universe is not saying, oh, you know what? I'm going to go and pinpoint who Dr. Shefali is, and I'm going to take care of her and put a bubble around her because she has long brown hair, and freckles on her nose. No, the universe is not choosing. It's just cause and effect, cause and effect. However, religions have made us believe that if we're very special, and if we pray on Tuesday night, and if we do 10,000 things with flowers and garlands, you know what I mean, without offending anyone, religions have made us feel that we're very special and we can get special favor. And then when we die just the same, we're like, let me see. So there is no special favor. You see, the universe doesn't care about your God. The universe doesn't care who you pray to on Tuesday night. I'm sorry to say, the universe operates on law on the law of cause and effect. The same for the gazelle, the same for the baboon, the same for the human. It's what the cause and effect was, right? So when we understand this and we realize, oh, I'm a child of the universe, which means I'm a child really, if of anything man-made, probably science. But even science can't compare to the incomparable mysteries of the universe, right? So I can try. But if at all, I'm just a child of science, which is an observation of nature, but I'm really a child of nature. When I realize that I'm not a child of my mother and my father, I'm not a child of my religion or my tradition, I'm not a child of my wealth or my prosperity, I'm not a child of my beauty and my status. I am not. I am just a child of nature. When I realize that, it gives freedom to me. To you, it may be dismal. When I stop attaching that I come from here and I am this and I am that and, and I was this and I am. No, I'm a child of nature. What that means is I'm of nature. Nature is natural. What does natural mean? Unadorned. What does unadorned mean? Not conditioned. What does not conditioned mean? Not man made. What does not man made mean? Not from your ideas. It is what it is, not from here. Because what has created conditioning? What has created belief systems? What has created artificiality? This mind has created nonsense. Nature is just the laws of the universe. And our nature is nature. It's not the construction of the ego, what the ego has said. You're a PhD, you're a scientist, you're a researcher, you're a botanist, you're diabetic, you're ADHD, your anxiety. You're not. Sure, colloquially for the moment, yes, you can be anything you want to be. But that's just a borrowed label, a hat you don, a coat you wear, but it's not permanent. And therefore, you have to give it up. And when you give it up, thinking that that was you, so you're the PhD, you're the scientist, you're the fancy whatever. And then when the clock says time to give it up, like Cinderella, time to give it up, we have a panic attack. You're like, what do you mean give it up? This is me. I can't give it up. But the universe says, it was borrowed. It was a borrowed label. You cannot be that thing forever. Think about all your borrowed labels. Just by the fact you die, you cannot be that thing forever. Just by the fact the other dies, you cannot be the thing forever. You will not be a wife forever. You will not be a daughter forever. I'm sorry. So it is something you borrow. But our not understanding this, our attachment to it keeps us suffering. But if we understand it's borrowed time, then when it's time to give it up, there's slightly more grace, no? Slightly more grace. Look how upset all these parents get with their children. I told my son, I warned him 15, 20 times, give me the remote, give me the screen. And 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 the child doesn't give it up, right? And then you're like, I warned you, and look, you don't give it up. Why is there always a tantrum? From childhood, we're tantruming to not give up things that are actually supposed to be given up, from the screen to our life, to our identity, right? But we parents, oh, so upset when the kid doesn't give up the iPad. Yet when something is taken from us, right? Something is taken from us, our youth, our beauty, our job, our paycheck, our reputation. Look how much we argue. All these things are the same as the child's iPad. Temporary, meaningless at the end of the day, just there for momentary meaning. It's not you, but big tantrums you having. Why shouldn't the child have tantrums, right? So, freedom comes when you understand that you are a child of nature. To understand you're a child of nature means you're not compartmentalized. There are no little boxes of good and bad. You just are. And with the you just are, you will be taken from and given, and taken from and given in the same instant. There is no good nor bad. There is no duality. Whatever duality you're seeing is because you are not yet wise. So whenever I see duality, like I say a million times a day, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is not fair, this is not right. What an ass, what a sicko, what a mean person. I'm judging all day, right? But I know I'm only judging because I'm in small mind. My small mind means my ego mind, the mind that has forgotten who it really is, the mind that has become mad, the mind that thinks it's man made, it's woman made, the mind that thinks it belongs in this body, and with this body, all its things. The mind that thinks that these things are important. It's a crazy mind. I call it my small mind. A million times a day, I enter small mind. Okay? But the only way I can survive the small mind's insanity is that I've developed a meditation practice that has a big mind watching my small mind all the time. So my big mind is like, after 25 years of meditation, you're still in the same place. And my small mind it says, yes, yes, I am, because I can't let go. And then my big mind and my small mind have many conversations all day long. Don't you know better? We're still at level one. We have not even moved to level two. You're still as unwise as a toddler. You teach this, but you don't know any of it. And yeah, because I don't. My small mind is like your small mind. Our small minds are the same: ego, greed, lack, scarcity, petulance, tantruming, unhappy, resistance. Your small mind, my small mind, the same, right? The only difference is that I have a big mind, and my big mind plays police all damn day and is a warden and a, and a peacemaker and a mediator and a pain in the neck, really, because I have literally the big mind in my ear all the time. Go to big mind, go to big mind, go to big mind. I'm like, no, 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 not today, not today. Today I can't go to big mind. So I'm always in war, right? And so I invite you to develop a big mind so you can be at war too. And the big mind keeps us sane, really. So freedom comes when you understand that all of this is an illusion. There is no separation, there is no duality, there is no death. So, all of you who've had death, my dear friend is facing the death of her father and then the death of someone else. And I say to her and I say to you, you're seeing death because that's all you see. But there cannot be death without the next birth. There just cannot be, because all of life is non dual. It's never just one. You're seeing one, but right in it is the next rebirth. It's not even coming. It is already a rebirth. So it's just up to us to step into the place. You can step into death or you can step into rebirth. It's the same choice because they both are there. And of course, there's a loss. Of course, there are tears. Of course, there's grief. But with it, there's freedom and detachment and release and space. And we have been only conditioned to do one, right? So when we see the C grade, right? And I give you many examples to show you how it's all possible. So when you see a C grade coming to you, and you're like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, culture has told me this is bad, culture has told me this is a failure, culture has told me this is end of life, doomsday, right? You're the worst parent. Culture has label after label after label, in box after box after box, because this is how culture has conditioned us. What box is this? Bad. This is the box called bad: doom, gloom, depression, guilt, shame. But right with the C grade is something else, right? I don't know what's the opposite of C, but it's that, right? Right with the C grade is something else. What it is in esoteric metaphysical terms is a wisdom, is an intelligence. What is the intelligence? The intelligence is that, oh, my kid is not meant for this in this moment. This is not matching who my kid is, because if my kid was being matched, my kid wouldn't get a C grade, right? It is right there as a possibility for you to enter. But we don't enter it because culture has told us only enter doom, gloom, bad, guilt, and shame. But right there is this other possibility. So those who are wise have developed the capacity to look for the other, to look for the other, to find the thing that is not being seen, right? Like the Tao says, the name that can be named is not the real name. So they look for the not the real name. When I was doing my annual event, Evolve, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 2018, the lanyards, I was so into my ego and lanyards and so traditional. I had lanyards, and the conference was starting. It was Friday night, and by Friday afternoon, there are no lanyards. There are no lanyards. What do we do, Dr. Shefali? There are no lanyards. There are no lanyards. So I first, my rule of thumb in life is that I don't like to waste my anxiety. I like to use my anxiety for good things. Like I want to get anxious when it's really time to get anxious. I don't like to get anxious for no reason. So I told the people, let's get anxious 45 minutes before. Like, why get anxious now? Like, what's the point? Why be anxious for 5 hours? What a waste. Now, of course, we called the company and they said, it's on the way, it's on the way, it's on the way. So I said, well, first, my rule of thumb, what is the last possible time before I need to get anxious? Then I'll use my brain. Because why use your brain and then it shows up? So they're like, the event starts at 7. I was like, 6:15, call me. If it hasn't come, I'll start getting anxious. Okay, I'll go into a different mode. Till then, I'm not going to worry. Okay. Okay, Dr. Shivani. All right, 6:15. 6:15, they call me and they're like, it hasn't shown up. So culture says this is bad. I have lost something. This is terrible. I've been victimized. I paid so much money. How dare it not come? Let me get angry with someone. Let me blame someone. But I had another ego of getting ready. So I'm like, which ego should I be in right now? So it was a conflict. So I was like, what do I really care about? How I look or what the people think about this badly organized conference? So I was like, I care more about how I look. So let's put this one on the side. But no, all jokes aside, I'm trained to see the beauty. If it's lost, what's the gain? So as this was being taken away, right? I asked myself, how do I look at this non dually? Because obviously I'm looking at it dualistically. And if I look at it dualistically, as in, there's no lanyard, then I'm going to panic and I'm going to want to kill someone. So, how do I look at this non dualistically? Right? I'm like, damn it, I don't know. I don't know. How do I look at this non dualistically, Shefali? So, well, I immediately could look at it non dualistically. I said, oh, there's no name. This is the most beautiful thing. There's no name. We have no name. This is the point of the whole damn conference. If they understand it, that you can live without a name, that you don't have to be attached to your name. Oh my God, this is the whole point of my whole conference is about detachment from the name and the label and the identity and to not think that you are the name. It was perfect. So not only did I get a refund for the lanyards, it is now my policy to have no name. We never have lanyards. We never have badges. We never have identification markers because the point of my teachings is to disidentify, to create freedom. Call yourself whatever you want, Bazubulda, call yourself purple unicorn, call yourself three-headed horse or a big nostril. I'm a big nostril. Say whatever you want because don't be attached to your name. So it became a whole teaching. And I think it's genius, frankly. So, this is how you begin to look at life in a different way. And you make a choice. You see, culture has us by the neck. Culture says, nope, be unhappy, be in doom and gloom. Death is death is death is death. There is nothing to celebrate. So, everybody's really somber. When you go to the funeral and they say dust to dust, ashes to ashes, I mean, that is a truly miraculous moment if you have released your ego and you've gone back to ashes, dust to dust. But it's because we don't value the metaphysical, it's because we don't value the spiritual, and it's only because we value the ego that we look at that dust to dust, ashes to ashes as something negative, right? This is it. We are returning to our nature. It's actually a celebration, right? When the child is born, there should be tears. When the person dies, there should be laughter, right? Technically that's the way it should be, because when they're born is like, now you're in for a ride, or laugh at both, or laugh and cry at both, right? But it's not one or the other. The child is born happy, the person dies sad. It cannot be. That's duality. So let's laugh and cry, or flip it around, play with it, or cry and laugh. It just can't be one, but we're conditioned for that. So now in your life, when you're suffering, ask yourself, what am I not seeing? What is the non-dual aspect? What is the other? What is the other? What is the other? It's being taken, but now wisdom tells me nothing is taken. It's being taken, something is being given. There's some freedom. When something is taken, there's freedom, there's space. Can I step into that? Now that takes courage because you're going against what culture tells you. But this is the choice, right? This is the choice of the wise one. This is the choice of the spiritual warrior. That's why they're called spiritual warriors. What are they warring against? They're warring against culture's conditioning. They're warring against the way it's been told to them. And they're saying, no, I'm going to make a different choice. So I'm going to read to you 4 verses of the Tao because these are some verses that are beautiful for this moment. And I may not explain all of it right away, but I'm just going to leave you with it and you will feel it. So, verse number 20 of the Tao says, stop thinking. It doesn't say stop having thoughts. We cannot stop having thoughts, but we can stop thinking, the controlling. Stop thinking and end your problems. That's it. Stop thinking, end your problems. Be in the now. What difference, the Tao says, between yes and no? See, we think there's a big difference because in saying no to someone else is always saying yes to ourselves. Saying yes to someone else may be saying no to ourselves. So, what difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Right? The Tao is saying these are illusions. These discrete boxes are lies. Must you value what others value? The Tao asks. This is Lao Tzu and written in some, I don't know what century. Avoid what others avoid. How ridiculous, the Tao says. How ridiculous that you must value what others value. So it's telling you, be a warrior, be a maverick rebel, like fight against this norm. Don't be just following the sheep to the slaughterhouse. Other people are excited as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. What this is saying is I'm unconditioned. I'm not conditioned. Other people have what they need. I don't need what I need. I possess nothing. I alone drift about like someone without a home. I'm like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. They want to be bright. I I can be dark. Other people are sharp. Me? I can be dull. Other people have purpose. I don't know because it's moment by moment by moment. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I'm different from ordinary people, you see, because I drink from the great mother's breast. What this means is I'm not of ego. My nectar, my food is not coming from my ego. My food doesn't come from your compliment, doesn't come from what you say about me. I don't drink from your breast. I drink from some other place. I drink from the breast of the great mother, earth. I am of earth. I am the child of the earth. Verse 21. The master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. What's the big mystery? I'm part of the big mystery. This is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be one with it? Because she doesn't want it. She doesn't need it to be graspable. She doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she allows it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It's before time and space. It is beyond is and is not. It doesn't go with is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and I see. Verse number 22. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to be full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings because he doesn't display himself so people can see his light. He has nothing to prove. People can trust his word. He doesn't even know who he is. People recognize themselves in him because he has no goal, you see. Everything he does is a success. When the ancient masters say, if you want to be given everything, give everything up. They weren't using empty phrases. They understood that it is only when you live with the Tao that you live with yourself. Okay, last verse. But it all speaks to non duality, yes, and the illusions with which we live. Verse 23, express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, it's only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. What this means is, if you're blowing like the wind, blow like the wind. Don't try to be like the rain. When you're raining, be like the rain. Don't try to be like the sunflower. When you're the sunflower, don't be the lion. No comparison. Be you. Be in your lane. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with the loss. You accept it. You accept it. You don't look at it as a death. You don't look at it as a negative. You just accept it. You understand with it comes the birth. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. Okay, everybody, that was a long class. I'm going to be teaching meditation in another group. Take a pen and write this. It's www.facebook.com/groups with an S /get super powered /. I'm going to meditate there in around 5 minutes. Come meditate with me. It's a free group, and I do a free meditation every single day. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining me.